She kissed another man on her wedding weekend. I left every proof in her locker, exposed her affair to everyone, and watched her beg me as our engagement ended. I was 34, and for years I believed I knew love, life, and how to build a future with someone. I thought I had everything figured out, at least when it came to relationships, and I trusted completely that I had found my person. Her name was Claire. She was 32, and for almost 4 years, she had been the woman I saw growing old with, laughing with, sharing quiet moments and dreams, and building a life that felt safe and solid. We had been engaged for 8 months, lived together for over 2 years, and planned a wedding that felt like the natural next step in a life we both imagined. Our relationship was steady, calm, and comfortable, not full of drama or excitement, but it had a stability that made me believe in forever. Claire was not someone who went out much or partied. She worked long hours and often came home tired, wanting only to relax, eat, and sleep. I took care of cooking, laundry, bills, and household tasks without complaining, because loving her meant supporting her in every way I could. I didn't see this as a burden. I saw it as a part of being with the woman I loved, and I trusted her fully, believing she would never hurt me or betray my trust. 2 weeks before everything changed, she told me she wanted to go on a girls' trip to Nashville with her bridesmaids, a typical bachelorette weekend. I didn't think twice. I thought it was sweet that her friends were celebrating our upcoming wedding, and I trusted that she would have fun and return with happiness. She hugged me tight before leaving, promised to check in, and sent short messages that said, "Busy. Don't worry. I love you." They seemed normal, and I believed them completely, not knowing that they were lies and that something was happening behind my back that would change everything I believed about her and our relationship. While she was gone, I tried to keep myself busy, drafting a speech for our wedding and imagining a future that I still thought was secure. I was not the jealous type. I trusted Claire fully. If she said she was with friends, I believed her. If she said she loved me, I took her words at face value. Looking back, I see now how blind I was. Small signs I brushed off as stress or fatigue were actually red flags I ignored. Late-night texts to friends when she claimed she needed space, her protectiveness around her phone, odd behavior that I assumed was normal. All of it was part of a bigger picture I didn't notice until it was too late. Saturday night, my phone buzzed with a message from Jenna, my coworker's girlfriend, who I barely knew. She said, "You should see this," and attached a short video from Nashville. I hesitated, half expecting it to be innocent, maybe a clip of dancing or laughing with her friends. But the moment I opened it, I felt my world shift. There was Claire, pressed against another man, his hands on her waist, her hair falling across his face as they kissed slowly and deliberately. And her bridesmaids were there, cheering and filming as if it was a game. I watched it multiple times, hoping it was a mistake or a misunderstanding, but I knew the truth. She had betrayed me, and then came the screenshots from another bridesmaid who reached out that night, forwarding messages where Claire boasted about meeting this man, called him her last fling before marriage, and laughed about how I would never find out. Every sweet message I had received from her during the weekend suddenly felt like a lie, a cover for weeks of secret planning and betrayal. I didn't sleep that night, replaying the video and reading the screenshots, trying to understand how someone I trusted completely could plan such a betrayal with such ease. Sunday night, Claire returned home, luggage in hand, smiling, acting as if nothing had happened. She hugged me, kissed me on the cheek, and talked excitedly about Nashville, her friends, and how much fun she had. I stayed calm, nodded, and listened, pretending that I had no knowledge of the truth. I needed her to see everything without having the chance to excuse herself or twist the story. The next morning, after she left for work, I put my plan into action. I printed screenshots, stills from the video, and proof of hidden conversations and payments to the man she had secretly met. I placed everything into a large envelope with her name and dropped it at her workplace, instructing the office to place it in her locker. By lunchtime, my phone was flooded with calls and texts. She screamed, begged, and accused me of ruining her life and her career. Calmly, I told her, "Claire, I didn't ruin anything. You did. All I did was make sure you couldn't lie your way out. Her excuses were weak. It was just a kiss. You are overreacting. But the proof was clear. Weeks of secret messages, planning, and hidden payments showed that it was not a mistake. The wedding was canceled. Deposits were lost. Invitations were discarded. She moved out, stayed with friends, and tried to twist the story to make me seem like the villain. She called, cried, and begged, saying it was a mistake and that she loved me. But the truth was obvious. It was a choice. Our engagement ended. I stayed calm, leaned on friends and family, and knew I had done the right thing. Claire lost trust, respect, and the life she planned. She begged, she screamed, and she tried to minimize everything, but the reality was clear. I walked away knowing I had saved myself from a life of lies and betrayal, and while she begged me, I realized I had avoided a future full of pain and regret. When Claire opened the envelope at work, she was speechless. Her hands shook as she read every screenshot, every message, every proof of her betrayal, and I could imagine the panic rising inside her. People around her noticed, whispered, and looked on with curiosity and shock. The woman who had smiled and acted normal just days before now faced the full weight of her actions, and she had no words to spin or excuse anything. Calls and messages flooded me from friends, co-workers, and even bridesmaids, asking what I had done, demanding answers, and begging for peace. I remained calm, knowing that I had already delivered justice without losing my own integrity. Claire called me non-stop, her voice breaking as she begged me to forgive her, to forget what she had done, to give her another chance. She cried, repeated that it was only a kiss, that she loved me, and that she had made a stupid mistake. I listened silently, not raising my voice, not arguing, not pleading. I only told her once, clearly and calmly, check the envelope. That is the truth. Everything else is your choice. And that was the last time I spoke to her about it directly. She begged and screamed for days, but I knew nothing could undo the betrayal or the lies that she had planned for weeks. I had done what needed to be done, and I stayed true to myself. In the days that followed, I rebuilt my life slowly. I spent time with family who truly cared, talked to friends who had always been loyal, and allowed myself to process the pain without losing my calm or my dignity. Claire tried to twist stories on social media, posting cryptic messages about mistakes and growth, but I ignored it. I knew the truth and that I had done the right thing by not letting her lies continue. Her life at work was different now. People talked. Coworkers knew. Friends knew. The bridesmaids knew. And most of all, she knew that her actions had consequences she could not avoid, no matter how much she begged. Months later, I realized how important it was that I found out before anything became permanent. No wedding, no marriage, no shared finances, no children. I had escaped a future full of deception and heartbreak. Claire lost more than just me. She lost trust, friends, respect, and the life she thought she could have by manipulating and lying. She begged, screamed, and tried to minimize her actions, but it made no difference. Our engagement had ended, and I stood strong, calm, and free from the lies she had planned. I could finally move forward, knowing I had handled the situation with integrity, strength, and patience, and that I had avoided a life full of regret. Even now, thinking back, I feel the relief of having taken control of my life before it was too late. Claire begged, cried, and tried everything to reverse the damage, but the truth remained. I had trusted, I had loved, and I had acted wisely. The woman who kissed another man on our wedding weekend learned that begging and excuses could not undo betrayal, and I learned that trust is precious, and that sometimes the only way to protect yourself is to act calmly, with proof and with strength. The engagement ended, justice was served quietly, and I moved forward, free from lies, betrayal, and heartbreak.